Okay, and welcome to this week's video game podcast of We Know Nothing, where we tell you everything that we don't know about video games. If you want to have any questions for us, tell us anything, hit us up at knownothingpc@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/knownothingpc, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/knownothingpc. I'm joined here with Steven and Seth as always. How you guys doing?
Yo. Doing good. You almost fucked up there.
Yeah, I noticed that.
The
Almost.
Twitter plug. The Twitter. I heard what? But yeah, it's Know Nothing PC, not We Know Nothing PC. Just Know Nothing PC.
Yeah, pretty good though. I'd like to say I like that. What have you guys been playing this week, Steve?
Not much. Been hopping in and out of League of Legends because I know you're gonna say that because you've been playing. I'm just gonna say this, and it's kind of like an intervention on the podcast. You need help. You need to stop playing League of Legends. I can play 2, maybe 3 games a day because then it's 2 hours, 3 hours spent, and that's fun for me. It's not fun game 6, 7, 8 where it's just ridiculous. Bit of League of Legends. A couple things for review. I played Dust 5.14 a bit more. Didn't like it. WoW 5.8.4 and Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
What do you think, Counter-Strike?
It's Counter-Strike. I mean, a lot of people are trying to. Some people audition it because they like the new style of shooters, but I mean, it's fairly balanced. I see a problem with there being keyboard and mouse for your PlayStation 3 that you can use for it. So I'm finding some issues you could probably have with that. And they edited some of the maps, so like DE Dust has like a couple extra chambers, that would normally be choke points where things can happen and you get caught off guard. So it's pretty refreshing, but it's Counter-Strike. So if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't.
Well, are they going to keep the same exact map for DE Dust?
I'm gonna cut you off because I believe we're talking about that a little bit later. What have you been playing this week, Seth?
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Cut you off, bro.
Let's
sorry.
go with the
I don't
flow,
have
bro.
much more. So when you bring it up later on, it's going to be about 2 seconds and then about 20 seconds of awkward silence. But fine, Seth, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a few different things. A lot of platform games this week. I went back to PS1 Classics, played Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Planning on beating it this weekend again, just flying through it. No problems. I just got all the forms for standard. I have had most of the bosses beat in the standard, so I just got to kind of clear the regular dungeon and go back. And then the other thing I've been playing is for my iPhone. It's a game I loved. That was a Flash game, and it came out as an iPhone game called Fancy Pants Adventure. Do you guys know Fancy Pants?
Yeah, I know Fancy Pants.
That sounds like an amazing game.
Matt, you have no idea.
You've never played it.
No.
It's like a platformer, basically.
Imagine like Mario, but this guy's like doing parkour and shit, and it's just a stick figure with fancy pants on.
You've never played any of those Flash games at all.
No.
He is available. I'm going to plug him real quick because I know he's available for the iOS. He's available for Droid. He's on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
He also has two different Flash games, Matt. It is a fun game.
It's basically a stick figure with cloud hair and then fancy pants.
Yeah.
I would play it just for the name of the game. I'd give it a try.
There you go.
That name is just amazing.
All right, well, I'm going to put you off right there because we're not going to talk about this right now.
The creator of it knew, but I like it because it's a Flash game that became a real game. That's something I tried a ton of Flash games. I tried them for 3 minutes and get tired of them, but it was a good Flash game. Somebody picked it up, and now it's a real game that's got a billion extras in it.
Well, Matt, what have you been playing this week?
Well, as you've already said, a hell of a lot of League of Legends. Let me
You're
tell
almost
you.
passing me in level, meaning I was level 16, just at 17, maybe 4 or 5 games ago. And you're almost level 17, and you were level 3 maybe last week.
No, I was higher than that. I started playing again, I'd say about 2.5 weeks ago, and I was level 7.
Well, all right. Well, I guess I just saw the big jump from like 12 to 17.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot.
Who have you been playing as?
Graves.
I've been trying a bunch of different people. I've been playing as Graves. I just bought Darius last night. Been playing as him. Oh my god, Darius is so much fun. He's tanky, so he's got a lot of health. He can take turret hits, and he's strong as shit.
I think his ultimate is pretty nice.
Is it kind of like Garen? I mean, that kind of sounds like...
No.
His ultimate, they call it the slam dunk because he just walks up there. It looks like he jumps in the air and slams down. And everyone's like, just dunk him, dunk him. And then if you kill him with it, it resets the cooldown. It's
It's pretty sweet.
amazing.
Oh, me and what's Kaylee? What's the name of that stupid hero that I was playing with the other night? I forget the name of it. It's the one with the sword can heal. It's got that red ball they shoot.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Kate.
That
Yeah.
Oriana?
Kale. Kale.
No, I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
it's Kale. Kayle. Played with a terrible Kale the other night. You don't know anything about team battles. Meanwhile, I shackle 4 of the 5 with Morgana. It procs. All of them are stunned for 4 seconds, and he runs away. Luckily, we had a good teamo. That was the game Matt, you were listening to last night.
Oh yeah,
Oh, such
the
a
one I
bad,
the
so
one I didn't
irritating.
play.
You couldn't play, but you stayed on all night anyway.
I was setting up for this
All
today.
right.
I'm
But
trying to find. I'm trying to find a hero to play as though. I mean, I was pretty good with Diana. I like Severe,
You
but
would like Diana because she's 6,300 IP. Anyone like that's
yeah,
good to play as.
I know. I love all the 6,300. You want to? I'm at like 55, so I'm gonna buy one with IP points.
Check
And
Varus.
it's that or that wolf bitch this week.
Wolf bitch.
Yeah, the one with 9 tails. Not wolf,
Ari,
fox.
Ari,
Yeah, I like her, man.
I played as her. I wasn't a fan.
I kind of like Teemo. I'm gonna tell you, I kind of like a an AP tax or yeah, AP attack speed Teemo's pretty good. I'd suck early game as that, but later on I do pretty well.
There
You
ought to
should
be a
try him
group
out.
of all like Furbies. You get like Teemo, you get like Keenan. I'm trying to think of who else would be there. Just like 5 Furbies that just rape.
And Warwick fucking eats them all. All
Uh,
right. Well, speaking of that, I'm at any other games you've been playing or no?
yeah, I've
So,
actually
when's the segue? God damn it. Go on.
I played Borderlands on my Xbox. I picked it back up. I actually beat the game this past weekend.
Speak.
Apparently there's a second playthrough
Yeah.
of the exact same game. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that, but I do have the Game of the Year edition, so I do have all the DLC to go through still. I started the first one.
I mean, it's nice because it's just replay value, harder enemies, and then with people in your group, the enemies are even harder and they're more, and they're better drops the whole time. It's just for fun. But actually, speaking of that, September 4th, free to play on PlayStation Plus. Matt, guess which game?
Borderlands.
Borderlands. Yes, I'm going to finally play on PlayStation. I played it on PC, so next week I'll have that. Anything else?
Just the WoW patch, which I'm not too happy with, but
We'll get into that later, or we're going to have a whole Mists of
I
Pandaria,
love it.
like a side episode, or maybe one if it's just a slow news week, but we're going to get into that later. We'll talk about 5.4 later if we have time. But just speaking of League of Legends, just a quick topic. The top 2 teams of League of Legends were disqualified in the pro circuit because of some sort of cheating. Now, nothing was actually formally released about the cheating, but it kind of makes you think. 3 and 4 got their points because I guess it's like a point system, the games you play, who you beat, and all that other jazz. Matt, playing League of Legends, people cheating in the highest end of the bracket. What you thought?
what I heard was that they weren't cheating per se. The 2 teams that ended up being first and second place agreed before the tournament. This is all hearsay, by the way. Like I don't know if this is true or not. What I heard was that these 2 teams, Dignitas and Curse, agreed that if they won or placed at all, they would put all their money together and then split them between the 2 teams.
And they ended up getting third and fourth now because, or no, they're completely out of the running. That's right.
Yeah,
No money.
no money, and all the first and second place prize money is going to go to third and fourth place.
Yep. I mean, and speaking, I guess that's more of a morality thing. It's like in Big Brother, you get to the final 2, make an agreement, we both win $2,500. That's against the rules, but do you think it's fair for top 2 to start splitting things just because, I don't know, then you won't have to see them as competition. It doesn't matter who wins in the end. Do you care?
I care for entertainment value. If I was on the team, I'd probably agree to it because it's just more of a safe,
Guaranteed money.
yeah, guaranteed money.
Seth?
As a fan, I can't agree with it. I'm upset for Curse. Curse is kind of. I think they're growing. I've definitely seen a lot more people knowing who Curse is. They have a variety of websites. They got their own teams now. They're sponsoring their own teams. But you know what? It's a competition. I mean, if it was just I don't know if it wasn't such it was the Nationals or the North American League, wasn't it? North American tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big North American tournament. See, if they hold their own, Curse holds one or it's smaller, maybe, I could see it, but I'm being such a large scale and such a large level, I can't blame the people who hosted it. See, I know nothing about who hosted it or what the tournament was because I wasn't really. I don't like watching professional gaming. I don't really care anyways. But
All right, yeah, I'll just cut you off there because these are just things we're going to quickly touch on. Confirmed is Raiden for PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. Actually, in a couple minutes or a couple seconds, I'll pull up the two more confirmed. So far, it's looking like it matches the data leak. Either of you guys care about any of it? Would you care about Metal Gear Solid Raiden? Yes, no.
again, I think we kind of touched on it. I would have preferred not having Raiden. I'd have preferred Snake, but Super Smash Brothers, we're not sure what they can provide and what they can't. Uh, but you got to represent somebody, and he's like the second most logical one to go to. Makes sense.
Yeah,
No.
I was watching the video of him too. He looks like he's got some pretty sick combos that can keep people disabled for a while.
Now you haven't checked anything else, or you haven't checked these videos. Just specifically, I'm going to say Nariko from Heavenly Sword and Sir Daniel Fortes, whatever it's pronounced, for Medieval, are both now confirmed. So that happened actually just very, very shortly ago. You guys have any thoughts about either of them? Not seeing their gameplay, but in terms of Heavenly Sword or Medieval, are you interested in reboots? Do you think this is just going nowhere? Thoughts?
I think Heavenly Sword wasn't a very good game to begin with, but I feel like Sony's just throwing him in there as like maybe a chance to make her more popular, or try to put out a second game or something.
I said this weeks ago,
I
and you
remember.
guys criticized
Just
me.
hurry up.
Oh
Just hurry
yeah,
up.
that's
You
right.
guys criticized me. It's a platform to promote their new games. Look, we're going to see a lot more of these games. The PlayStation All Stars, almost all of them are going to have a game coming out within the next 2 to 3 years,
Okay, we'll just skip on that.
including
Play-
Parappa the Rappa.
Whatever. Just shut your mouth. PlayStation.
Oh, no, because I'm right. You're making me shut my mouth.
No, it's because we want to touch on these quicker because we want to spend more time on other topics. PlayStation 4 is 4,000 resolution. I mean, what the fuck is the only thing I can say. I guess it kind of shows where Sony. I think Sony's ahead because they kind of know where the television market's going to go, but 4,000 resolution is just sick. Thoughts on that, Matt?
I was when I was looking at the article where it came from, um, it said that they're gonna put out like their bigger TVs, like the 80 inchers and whatnot. All those plan on having the high 4,000 resolution. They're looking at like showing standard pictures of what we have now, which seem like really amazing when you look at them in person. But like the picture, the comparison just made what we have now look so shitty.
Well, I saw that Sony just announced an 84-inch television, so that's probably the first thing that's going to happen. But do you think it's going to be able to keep up with the market? You think this is just extra power? Do you think it's useless? I'll throw that one to Seth.
It's going to be, look, when the PlayStation 3 first came out, it was more power than we needed and more power we could handle. I think what they're looking for as far as, this kind of shows that they're having another 10-year plan with their system, because 4K resolution, I'm not sure how much faster we can beat it. So I like it. I think it's smart, and it'll help us get ahead and not get ahead. I don't know. I have a lot of other things I'd like to say about it, but it's I'm falling apart today. Jesus.
No, we'll just leave it at that. Just leave it at whatever.
I had 10 other thoughts going through my head, and you throw me a different question.
Yeah, I know. That's quick fire. All right, new Modern Warfare leak. Apparently, there's been a whole bunch of information. They're gonna have Level Under Ice for the new. Basically, what they're thinking is gonna be Modern Warfare 4. A Level Under Ice. They're gonna have Halo jumps, not Halo. You know what I mean? High altitude, low X, whatever it's called. Do you guys actually give a shit about this? I mean, did you see anything new enough that's interesting?
Not really. I mean, they're just gonna keep pumping out Call of Duty game after Call of Duty game every single year.
Yeah.
And
I'm just surprised it's so early, because normally, they still have to kind of push, what's it called, I forgot what they're even calling the new one.
Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2, there we go. I
Well,
was thinking Black Ops. Because they still have to compete with Halo 4. I mean, I think they're still kind of overlooking their November release for they're already putting Black Ops 2 in the past.
well, separate companies develop Black Ops and Modern Warfare, correct?
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
exactly. And so games are on a 2-year development cycle. There's just leaks about what's happening in the new game.
I mean, I think it only hurts Call of Duty as a whole. I mean, and because you have to admit, what happens with one impacts the other. If one puts out a shitty game, then the other one's going to suffer because
No,
of it.
World
I
at
think
War was a shitty game, and Modern Warfare 2 didn't suffer. Oh,
I,
skip
I
back.
don't think we picked that. I think until Modern Warfare 2, it wasn't really a force to be reckoned with. I think that was kind of the turning point for them, anyways.
Borderlands 2 has a script that's 5 times larger than Borderlands 1. Seth, does that scare you at all? What's your thoughts? You've never played Borderlands. You're the only one, correct?
No, I have not. I could say as far as script goes, you're either going to see a longer game or it's going to be like Final Fantasy 13. We're going to see a ton of movies. I don't hate it. It's going to include a lot more of a story.
Matt?
Uh, I'm pretty sure that the longer script is because the first game didn't really have a story to it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun playing it and going through it, but the story never told you why you were there and like what you were going to next. They just said, okay, go here and kill this person and come back, and we'll give you experience. Where I think where they're going with this, they're gonna actually have a story mode to pull you into the game and like give you every little bit of detail saying why you're here and why you should go do this quest rather than just go do it.
Okay. Square has announced that they have a bunch of browser games they're allowed to play. It's basically older or what I would call lesser quality, personally. Squeenix games. Matt, thoughts about the system of having free-to-play browser games?
Anything that's free is awesome.
Oh wow, that's a completely change of tone from Matt from 3 months ago who never played any League of Legends. Seth?
I don't know. I don't know. Matt is changing his mind. You have to give him that. He's changing his mind.
He's just opening his mind, that's all.
I'd like it because certain games you could only re-release so many times before, it kind of hurts you more. And plus it'll help Square with, recognition. If they add, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to include as far as browser games go. Whether it's going to be old games or like, how Final Fantasy 4 had a Final Fantasy 4 2 come out,
Yeah, no Final Fantasy 4 is like that, but basically my thought of it was some of their cheaper iOS games or games that they wouldn't want to put on the iOS. And I'll touch on another story really quickly.
I was going to say like the Chaos Rings and those kind of games, Vanguard.
They lower quality ones than that is my understanding. Games where you would normally spend a couple bucks on in the App Store.
Vanguard, yeah. If you played Vanguard, you know what I'm talking about. Right. It's terrible.
Well, jumping all around what we have listed, I'm just going to throw this one in there because it makes the most sense. Final Fantasy Dimensions has a release date. It's an iOS game coming out August 31st, which is Friday. It's probably the day you're going to be hearing this podcast if you listen to it first, or it's out right now as you're listening. Now, the big problem that I see is that it's episodic because it was released on old regular phones, and it's $3 to $4 per episode, totaling to $29. I mean, Square has always had more expensive games like Chaos Rings. The first one I bought for like $8. The second one was $18. Final Fantasy 3 is $15. But this is double, basically, Final Fantasy 3. As the hater of iOS games, Matt, what's your opinion on this, having so much money for this episodic RPG collection?
I have no idea, to be honest. I don't even know where to start.
Well, it's like episodic things have been coming out recently, like Back to the Future, Walking Dead. So, I mean, I can understand the thing, but $30 for your iTouch or iPad. Do you think that type of market can sustain? Do you think people are actually going to buy the whole thing, or do you think it's going to tank?
Oh, people will buy it. I mean, you got your dedicated Square lovers, people who just love the Final Fantasy series in general. Seth.
And saying Seth, best to Seth. Thoughts?
I think it's a real rough sell.
Ooh, wow.
Really? Wow.
That's a shocker.
I'm not saying I'm not going to get it.
Well, I doubt you're going to. Well, yeah, you would be the person to spend $30 on a iOS RPG.
I mean, for me, it really depends scale. I mean, how much are we talking per episode? Are each one of them going to be their own 20-hour game? Kind of concluding to what Final Fantasy 13 has become? Or is it... Go ahead, sorry.
I was say, from my understanding, it's collectively it'll be about 35 to 40 hours. So it's 13 episodes. So each episode is gonna be about 3 hours on average.
It's close. I mean, I think with the announcement of the mini iPad, it'll be more successful on other platforms. Not counting the actual iPhone, because I don't know if I could play it for an iPhone. If I had an iPad, I'd contemplate it. But
Yo, what the hell's up with this mini iPad? That's just the iPhone.
No.
yes,
Well,
it,
we all are
it,
Apple haters. We know.
it makes no sense to me. But that having a game like that would make more sense on there than it would on my phone.
Well, Matt,
But
you haven't walked through New York City since the advent of the iPad, have you?
No.
You've got these fucking people holding up their gigantic. All right, I'm not even gonna say people. These fucking Asians with their gigantic iPads hovered straight up in the air, right above their head. They can't even see anything. They just hold it up right above their heads. It's ridiculous. So they're thinking a tablet that won't make you look so crazy. Yeah, I know. I just got a little racist there, and it got really super awkward. Next topic, please. Skyrim has announced new DLC, Hearthfire, or Hearthfire, depending on how you pronounce Hearth. Now, it's going to be, of course, right now only for Xbox on September 4th. It's got new features. Basically, you can buy land, buy a house, kind of like more independent. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Seth, as a Skyrim player.
I don't I don't like that it's exclusive for the Xbox. I think I have a big problem with them keep going back to this. I mean, they're just not adding enough for me. I haven't really seen enough for this for me to really get excited either way about it. So I don't know, I'm just meh about it.
But it's $5. I mean, you're not even going to pay $5.
For what, owning a house, like that's the kind of DLC I won't get. I'm not a huge costume guy unless I really love it, but there just because it's $5 doesn't mean I'm going to get it because it's Skyrim and it's $5. I'm not that much of a sucker.
Matt, it's
Matt?
kind of micro DLC for Skyrim. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's absolutely retarded. I looked at it as like, really? Just for a house? I hate this game overall. I mean, you guys know
How can you
I
hate
tried
it?
I tried playing Oblivion. I hated it. I hated every minute of it.
Skyrim's 100 times better than Oblivion because I tried going like I
It's
loved Oblivion. I went back. I can't play it anymore.
it's just not my type of game. I can't do it.
You can't do Fallout either.
No, can't do Fallout either. They're just not my type of games. And like, I mean, why would I pay $5 so I can have a virtual house that I can log my character out in? I don't know.
Hey, I'm thinking about getting PlayStation Home shit. Okay.
Yeah, I've paid money into PlayStation Home. Actually, for the truth, as a game that was available through PlayStation Home, so I don't see me spending money on PlayStation Home. But I also got the Stompers that helped you, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. All right, I love the Secret World. I've told you this many times, and just keeping this below the radar on the podcast because no one's really listening. I am week 2 into my 3-day trial or free 3 to 5 day trial. So there's no surprise that the Secret World only has 200,000 subscriptions and is tanking. Funcom's, I mean, they're doing the new Lego MMO, but besides that, they're kind of tanking and they're going to completely avoid this model and probably abandon the game. You guys have thoughts on a different type of MMO, something unique, just tanking like this?
Well, different doesn't always mean good.
Yeah. So
You
I
think
mean,
you think they strayed too far from the path of an
yeah.
MMO?
I mean, you have to do something. Look, it's really a hard. It's probably the hardest gaming market out there is MMOs because they require so much, and your users require so much from it. Straying, whether you try and mimic WoW or Guild Wars or something like that.
Rift or
Really, really, it's WoW. I mean, that's the big one that people either try and mimic. So if you exactly mimic it like some of them have, you tank. If you do something completely different, you tank. It's just a hard market.
I'm gonna be hipster douchebag for a second. Well, why would you shift off EverQuest too online? Yeah, get that out of the way. Matt,
Yeah.
your thoughts on a?
Oh, I was just saying, I'm not saying that ripoff can't work though. Like, it's just that there's just no surefire way to get it to work.
Yeah, Guild Wars worked perfectly fine. Matt, your thoughts?
Well, Funcom said that their low sale units or whatever was because their press feedback was terrible and they've gotten mixed reviews, and places have rated their game as low as 50%, which severely impacts their sales of the game. Well, I mean, if their game was actually good, like you say it is, Steve, I feel like the people who are doing their reporting or the reviews or whatever, they would give them a higher score than 50%.
Well, I think the problem is that they stepped too far out of the MMO comfort zone in terms of, I mean, you could double tap either of your directions and you dodge that way and your character moves and things like that affect dramatically. And I understand it's not perfect. I do have problems with it the further in I go. But they seem to have dungeons and they're adding new nightmare mode, which is like a hard mode basically to new dungeons. So they're trying to be new, but I think they just strayed too far from the path and people just don't get it. I mean, I truthfully spent over an hour one time because I didn't want to look up online trying to do an investigation quest to have fun doing it for the first 20 minutes and then it got frustrating. So I can see where people see that. But last week we talked about the top 25 PlayStation 3 games. This week we talk about the top 25 Xbox games. Now, just like last week, this is based off an article we read, and we all have different opinions on certain things about it. Now, I just have one thing I mainly want to say. Matt, Halo 3 is number 13, and no other Halo ranks higher above it. What's that all about?
I have no idea because honestly, Xbox wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for Halo. In my opinion, the way that the PlayStation 3 list was set up, I expected it to be Halo 1, 2, 3 in spots 1, 2, and 3.
Well, Halo 1 and 2
I
were
know.
on Xbox, but we're not even going to go into that one. No,
You
but
just did.
Mass Effect is number 1. Mass Effect 3, like I said, is probably a better game than Mass Effect 2 or 1. But why is Mass Effect 1? I understand the inspiration, but this is playing a game. That's my problem with this shit, is that, sure, it might be the new thing out there, but it's still a better game with 3. I don't get it. Seth, do you even care?
A little. I just care about this rank. I just don't like that both lists have both lists have overlaps. Wasn't Mass Effect pretty highly ranked on the PlayStation list too?
I think
Mass
Mass
Effect
Effect 2
2.
was because the original Mass Effect didn't come out on Xbox. But Red Dead scores much higher, I think, on the Xbox list than it does on the PlayStation list. I think different people did the list, so that might be the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, it basically looking at the list now, if you compared this to the list 5 years ago, we would have had none of the same names on both lists. They would have been completely separate. I like it. I don't like the list. Obviously, I have the same agreement with you in Halo, Matt. But I think the fact that the lists are compromised of more, the top games seem to be games everybody could play. I like that a lot more.
Okay. Matt, I'm going to throw this to you.
Hmm.
Why do you play video games?
I play video games because I have fun with them.
Seth, why do you play video games?
To escape the harsh reality of life, harsh, cold reality of life.
Mine's kind of similar. I play video games because I fail at most things in life, and I actually can succeed in a video game, and it tells me. Now, Matt, some people don't play video games for those very good reasons.
Nope.
Why?
Video games lately have become something more kind of along the lines of what you said, Steve. It kind of falls in line with you. It's a comfort thing, kind of. You don't do so well in the real world, you have a shitty day or whatever, and you can come home, you can play video games, and it tells you you're doing great. It gives you like a boost, for so to speak. A lot of this is because of a more recent involvement with this generation of video games, the release of achievement points and trophies. I mean, just think about it. If textbooks or studying school had achievements, we'd all be geniuses.
Well, I should properly phrase my argument because it's going to seem like I'm just backpedaling here, but I'm not. I don't play for trophies. Some games I have, but I haven't touched Rainbow Moon since I started talking about it the other week. I'm maybe 3/4 of the way through it. I don't feel like beating it because I don't feel good about playing it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a trophy guy either. I want to interject. I think, a lot of the same people who play. I guess it's type of video games too. The same people who play MMOs generally aren't the trophy type either. Shooters, sometimes there's overlap.
Oh, they're not,
MMOs,
Seth? Because every MMO now has achievements to make you feel better about yourself.
yeah, but not everybody, and there's a big distinction between regular RPG and MMORPG, but I mean, with the exception of Matt, I think a lot of people who are diehard in one type of game type, people who play platforms probably like achievements. I don't know. I think there's different kinds of gamers that play for different reasons.
I mean, WoW was pushing to doing achievements so people can say, "Hey, guess what? I got this mount, so I'm better than you." And that's
I
hey,
got
you
over.
sometimes feel guilty about that too. I mean, you'd say it yourself. I want to feel better than everybody else. Is that the reason why you want to raid?
Don't bring up achievements in WoW. Don't bring up achievements in WoW,
You
Steven.
just did.
Matt, what happened this weekend or Tuesday?
Oh, the patch stole my glorious moment that I've been looking forward to since it came out with achievements.
Which is?
I'm not a go out there and get achievements kind of person because if I was, this wouldn't even be an issue. But I really wanted to get that it's over 9,000 achievement when I hit over 9,000 achievement points, right? Well, I wanted to see that pop and feel glorious, okay? When the patch logged in, or like the patch this week, it changed everything. They give you account-wide mounts, account-wide achievements, and I just logged in all my characters to get account-wide mounts everywhere. And next thing you know, I press Y to look at my achievements. I have 9,400 something odd achievement points, right? I didn't even get to see it pop. Look at it. I already have it. It says I got it today. Didn't get to see it. Took all the satisfaction
So
out.
you want that achievement for all the wrong reasons, according to yourself. Hmm.
But
Yeah,
is that why you play? Is that why you play?
that's not why I play. Like I said, if that's what I played, I would have got that long ago, and it wouldn't even been an issue.
Okay. But seeing as how do we fix this then? I mean, the market is not going to get rid of achievement points. They've got points on, Flash websites for badges within games. I mean, it's just ridiculous, these achievements.
I
I
And
don't think
don't.
it's bad.
I don't think the market isn't a spot to try and fix it. The market puts it in there because that's what people want, so it's going to sell their video game. So they're going to keep putting it in. What is going to fix it is people have to get self-awareness. Say, I'm not even having fun playing this game. I'm just doing it to get achievements. They have to realize that first.
well, our cursed generation, unfortunately, is called the me generation. We only focus on things that affect ourselves. And I guess just to delve into a little bit of psychology, I know the reason why that happened is because growing up, and I'm saying I think I'll put 3 years, 2 to 3 years ahead of the cutoff of parents like this. And maybe because we have different aged parents is different, but when they would say, look, you're the best. No one's better than you. And so in video games, people want the achievement to make themselves the best and better than everybody else. And so it's a selfish generation, sure. I don't think they're going to have some sort of awareness. I mean, do you guys have anything to say to that?
I think that that holds true. And I think that's part of the reason why people go out in the real world and they fail so hard is because they have that kind of mentality. And when the real world hits them in the face, they need a retreat to go to outside of the real world to get away and escape. And video games is the perfect environment to do that.
Seth?
I don't.
You got
This
nothing?
argument got so. This argument's got so twisted at this point. I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, for video games, I don't think it's a bad thing. Overall, societal problems, maybe. But just let people keep their achievement points. I mean, I don't know. You talk about how is the market going to fix this terrible epidemic of how to. Just because we don't play video games for that reason doesn't mean that the market should get away with that.
But why play video games? You play video games because video games are fun, but I know
That's
a
why
lot of
you play video games.
I know people in college who do not have fun and waste all of their time. That's not a good thing. You can't tell me it's a good thing that someone wants to sit there and waste all their time trying
I'm
to
also not going to
achievement in
tell
Halo.
them what's
They
good
get
for
a
them.
1,000 achievement points from Halo.
I'm not going.
That's
I'm
ridiculous.
not going to tell these people what's good for them. Let them do it. It's not me. I know I'm better than them.
Well, that's the recent trend. Let's just stomp that one and let's just get rid of that. Let's look at the future. Games recently. DLC, mods for open source games, free to play games, games started through Kickstarter, a whole bunch of new things are happening that kind of didn't happen in the industry even 5 years ago. What do you guys think are the next viable steps for gaming? And what do you think will work? And I guess I gotta properly phrase this. What do you want want to work, and what do you think will work? Seth?
What I think will work, and I'm not sure if I entirely want this, is more video game integration, um, meaning integrating to your entire life. Like,
Like social media.
yeah, I mean, and not just meaning video game movies. I mean, you play a video game, you will be playing that video game, or you will have that video game in some form throughout your entire day. And whether the problem I have with it is whether you need to have that video game the entire day. Like just I'll bring it up Farmville. It's kind of random throw that out there. That's a game where you need to play it at all times and all days to kind of get there. And I think games are going to trend that way. I like the fact that they're more integrated, but I don't like the fact that you need to play them all the time. You can't take a break or else you're behind.
So what do you want to work then? I mean, you don't want that, but you think it will. What do you wish would happen?
I wish that I don't know, I kind of like where we are right now. I like the kind of balance. I like, the only thing I could probably wish for is shorter development time. Maybe have not so many grandiose games, but a lot more good games. It seems like now we're building toward, everybody's trying to find the next, big shooter that's going to sell billions of dollars of money.
AAA games, they're called.
Yeah, if you want to call them that, yeah.
Well, that's the industry term for it.
You being a hipster today, yeah. But I think we need a lot more B games. Oh yeah, you sound like one completely today.
No, I'm using the lingo. I'm trying to be
it's not just
some
this, but
form of professional.
I would love to see a lot more B games. I think that's why I'm trending a little bit more toward the iOS games. Not even all of them, but because right now they're kind of C games or D games at this point that I see. But that's what I like to see. I like to see a lot more B games. I like to see a lot more developers go toward that as well. Because I love Square Enix. They're very good with their product development, but I just can't wait for 12 years for one product to come out that I've been waiting for.
Matt, what do you think will work in the industry, and what do you want to work in the industry?
What I think will work is a lot of whatever the opposite of AAA games are. Games like Little Big Planet and Mod Nation Racers, Minecraft.
Where you can use your own user-created content and mods and make your own maps and such.
Yeah, they have their own community in a way, and it's almost like you can delve so much more time into a game like that rather than playing one of the popular games like a Call of Duty just to throw one out there. I mean, you play the single player campaign, it's real short as it is, maybe 8 to 9 hours, and then you play the multiplayer until you're sick of it. And I think with people like us, that's pretty quick. I'm sure we all know people who are still playing Call of Duty multiplayer every single day, but that's just not how we play.
I know people who play Modern Warfare 2 still because they didn't like 3.
Exactly, but I feel like the lesser games, what'd you call them? Games that use user-generated content a lot. You can delve so much more time, and severely impacts the lifespan of a game, I think.
So you think that will work? What do you wish would work? Is that the same thing?
I don't really have a wish. I mean, I don't care, because thinking about those games, I don't play any of them. I'm not, all my time did go into WoW. I think when the expansion comes out, more will come into it, but if I'm not satisfied, it'll be just like now where I'm pushing all my time into League of Legends as of right now. I'll pick a game and play it for a while, and then I'll switch.
Well, I guess I'll counter that with something I say really quick, and I'll just ask you, so do you think a subscription model will still work in the future? Do you want it to work? Or do you want to be able to, how do you think? Do you think you should have separate levels of subscription? Like for WoW. What do you wish for the future of WoW? The same thing they've been doing?
It doesn't really matter to me, because I'm
Sorry.
I'm what you would call a leecher of the mom unit, and I don't pay for WoW, so it doesn't affect me.
Yeah. I guess we'll explain that one really quick.
How old are you?
Basically, what happened is the reason why he's able to leech from his mom for free WoW and why she spent so much money for him is because he used to share an account with his brother, his younger brother, and his younger brother couldn't afford to play, and Matt would say, "Hey, guess what? You can't play if you can't pay." And so she said, "Hey, Matt, I'll pay for you." Then they got separate accounts, and she's still paying for him because Matt's a mama's boy.
That I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what I think will happen, and I'm not going to go too much into it because Matt, you just went into it. User created content, people making their own something. People can. You see every week all these crazy Minecraft things people make, and it just draws more people. I bought Minecraft because of some of the crazy shit I saw. Do I do well in it? No, I kind of get sick of those games after a while. But it's something new. I mean, I don't know. Little Big Planet karting, I'm kind of interested to see how the tracks. I loved Mod Nation Racers. They still have a community going, so I agree with you there. What I want to actually push the market is free to play. And then the problem with that is they need to be able to balance free to play. But I think that'll come with time. I think it's such a new thing that's coming out there. You're getting a lot of play to win games. I mean, you could even argue on some level that League of Legends has a pay to win option if you can buy the right heroes or champions. I keep calling them heroes. But I don't know. They've got it pretty well balanced, and I think free. I wish free to play and microtransactions is the future of the market because then I get to play how I want and I get to put money wherever I want instead of maybe I buy this expensive game and then I don't like everything in it. Any comments further before we go into some other specific video games really quick?
It's a good point. I somewhat agree.
Well, that was insightful. Seth, anything?
I'm just as insightful. I really don't have too much. I mean,
Okay.
we kind of had our own diatribes and left it.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you wanted to comment on anyone else's. I wanted to leave that out there.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I don't want to comment because, nobody really knows. It's all projections, is which and they're all viable projections. I don't want to smash anybody for their very viable opinion.
Okay. Well, then there's no point in just smashing into my segue, is there? But you
You
did.
haven't had very good ones this week.
That's because I didn't make the list. I normally think I probably spend at least 20 minutes sitting there once all the links are out, just going, this one's got to go there. This one's got to go there. But we'll just talk about a couple specific video games. Halo 4 has a couple new pieces of news. The Spartan Ops option, which is kind of like the Spec Ops of Call of Duty, is longer than the actual ODST DLC. And that's a lot of letters meaning nothing. Matt, what's your thought on this?
I think they're just trying to leech off of another, like you said, it's from Call of Duty basically. It's going to be the same type of thing. They're just adding another component into their game to try to sell more,
Do they
is
still
what
have
I'm thinking.
Firefight?
I don't know.
I don't believe they do. I think this is replacing it. So do you have any thoughts on getting rid of that and how this model might work as opposed to that?
I'm pretty sure I remember hearing that a while ago now that you mentioned it, that this is replacing Firefight. I
What's your
remember.
thoughts?
I mean, I liked Firefight. I did it every now and then when, when the game first came out. But besides playing it once every so often, I didn't really care for it after that. I mean, it was cool initially, and then it got old. So I'm not gonna miss it. To say long story short, I'm not gonna miss
You just did it for the achievements.
it. Sure.
Seth?
Yeah, that style of gameplay, it didn't attract me in Call of Duty. It's not gonna pull me in if I even go play Halo.
Well, I think it's weird to get turned on by video games in general, but go on.
Well, turned on can mean several different things.
You said
Only 'cause you
attracted
think-
to.
Yeah,
Go on, yeah.
there are levels of attraction. You're just trying to be a pervert.
No, I'm just
Hipster.
I'm trying to gauge the time and just come up with bullshit to fill in time and then cut time elsewhere.
No, this kind of model, this kind of gameplay didn't attract me. I don't know why Halo is having so much of it in Halo 4. Because as far as because I don't know how it's going to compare to the Call of Duty part of it, but the part of the reason for playing it over and over again was trying to get the same mission to gold. So why add that much content? I don't know.
My argument is, I guess it's nice that they split it up because Firefight got boring after a while. It just became long. It became obnoxious, so I can see the argument in making Spartan Ops. I just think it's nice that they have a lengthy Spartan Ops, but in terms of achievements and making it mandatory to do and just all that other stuff, people don't play it for that reason. So I'm glad they threw it in there, but I think it's time wasted. And speaking of achievements, I guess they released a list. I don't really care. I glanced over it once, and I don't really have many comments. Seth, anything really? Because Matt might have the most.
No, I to be honest, I didn't even look at it. I literally do not care about achievements.
Matt?
I cannot care less.
The
Okay,
main
Matthew. Yes.
the
Sorry.
main point I wanted to bring out with them releasing their achievement list early, leaking it, so to say, um,
So to
that gives,
speak.
that gives a lot of spoilers. I mean, if you actually read the list, there's so many spoilers to the campaign, what to expect from the game. I mean, does that it kind of goes back to our discussion about do people leak things on purpose to get people amped up for the game? Do you think it's right or wrong that they leak all this information so you can actually, I mean, I personally didn't want to know anything about the campaign, but now it's burned into my mind. What else can I think about? But I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone else.
But I mean, basically, you had the option to not look at the achievement list too.
That was going to be my point. Steven very well avoided the Miss Pandaria video until Tuesday.
hmm And my thoughts are, just to retouch on it, I I actually didn't edit that whole portion of the podcast when you guys were speaking. I timed it out and clicked beyond. I did hear that you guys thought it was really cartoony. That's okay. I think they're just trying to get back to what Warcraft is and what it kind of represents, which is a little cheese, a little seriousness. Because I mean, like I said, we're going to see the destruction of Theramore, so I don't see it as important. I would like to see this big grandiose thing. I would just like to see more magic in it, to be honest, because it was all
Now,
just melee fighting.
back to the main point. Now, Matt, what do you say to the fact that, okay, they leaked the achievement list, but you're the kind of person that's got to go out there and look at it? Couldn't you have not just looked at it?
Yeah, but I didn't think that a simple title and very short, brief description of what you got to do to get the achievement is gonna leak so much information about the game.
Save John. Oh, I wonder what we're going to do in this one. That's not a real one for people. I just made it up for people who know who John is. But
Yeah, I know. It's a Spartan 117, guys.
Sierra 117.
For serious.
But yeah, I mean, and I was gonna kind of hop on your side because I do agree that we shouldn't have to hide ourselves from it. Oh, the achievement link list. Oh well now I know the entire ending. Uh, but that's more to say about I don't know. I don't really know where to go with this because I do agree that wow, I'm falling apart.
Wow, yeah, you
I'm,
completely just crumbled.
I'm thinking 10 different things at once, which is the problem.
Yeah, for anyone listening, the three of you, we've all had kind of weird days. So, and weird kind of week, I guess. So all of us are a little off our game. So quite literally, we know nothing this week. So we're just trying to pinch one out and get something out there for you guys. Any really argument? The Seth kind of trailed off, and I take it we're just gonna move on to something else. Unless Matt, you want anything else you want to say?
No, I said what I had to.
Okay, just checking. All right, Final Fantasy has big news Friday. What are you guys hoping for? I guess I
Total
should throw it to
frustration.
someone. Seth?
You've done that all day today. You have no idea how frustrating it is.
Well, look,
Uh,
I wasn't expecting. I mean, just to quickly put it out there, Matt put this all together. He planned on doing the whole thing, and then he had a rough day, to say the least. Very bad day. So no one died or anything. Not putting that out there. Knock on wood. But so I'm taking the lead, and I don't know anything that we're going into. So I'm winging it. So Seth, I'll go to you. What do you think?
I still think what I thought last week. I really think a movie's a viable option. I don't see it being a video game. There's something, they're making a big deal about this. I mean, they have a separate Twitter account that just launched today, just for the announcement. It's just like when LeBron made his announcement for going to Miami. Like, it's
Don't
not
blame
just
him.
one thing.
Jesus.
But I mean, what the whole press conference also was, it wasn't just the fact that he's going to one place, but it's the fact that they constructed a super team. I just think with this much hype that it's going to be more than a video game, which is why I'm leaning toward movie.
Matt?
I'm just gonna say it once again. I'm really hoping it's not 13-3, like the
What are you hoping it to be though?
Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, geez. Yeah, the lightning saga, lightning storms, lightning strikes, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck they keep
yeah,
saying
yeah.
about it,
that's
thunderstorms.
what I know. You asked me what I hoped it would be. That's what I hope it be. But
Okay.
The Twitter is twitter.com/LRFF13, which stands for Lightning Room Final Fantasy 13. It clearly has wait, Lightning Cloud, Cloud Final Fantasy 7. There it is.
exactly.
Who's that bitch that Lucretia? L.
Which one?
Cloud. Love affair. New game.
You're pulling toward, Vincent's bitch there.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
former bitch. Yeah, really? You gotta pull out that far?
Well, look, Final Fantasy VII L. What do you think?
Look, there's not even a Sid in Final Fantasy 13, is there? So I can't make that connection.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking, and I'm going to pull a little bit from both of you guys. I think more than one thing is going to happen. Squaresoft is this type of company, but I think they're going to have a Vita game. I think they're going to have a game that's going to come out for Xbox and 360, and I think they're going to have some sort of extra media or form of media. So it could be a movie. I think they could do manga. I think they could do comic book because, quite frankly, the Twitter makes me think he's going to be doing Q&A. And if it's a new video game, there's a bit of Q&A, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of things to be discussed besides
I'm
just the movie.
I'm surprised that they're announcing it now instead of in a few weeks at the Tokyo Game Show.
Well, this is kind of, I guess it's just, isn't it like the 25th anniversary coming up and there's some
Yeah.
event going on? I mean, this is the 25th year, but I think
They're
it's being pretty significant to the first one coming up.
they're creating the event around it, which I understand creating the event, but I don't know. I just think, if you're just going to announce the game, you had E3, you have, game or the Tokyo Game Show. That's why I just don't think it's the game.
And
There are other
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There's more than one thing. There must be a reason, but
that, or I personally still think they'll announce, Square's going to handle their business separately. Maybe they want to handle Final Fantasy 13 here, and save the Tokyo Game Show for hopefully 13 versus. But
Do you
wouldn't that
guys?
be a nice time?
you just ran out of steam again.
Hold on. Final Fantasy. I just formulated this. Final Fantasy. Why Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 13 versus were both 13, right?
Same in the Crystal.
Same universe.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
They're in the same universe.
I gotta really learn that because I bring it up all the time.
Do you think it's a possible crossover?
No.
Do you guys think it could have anything to do with Final Fantasy 14 and being released on PlayStation 3 rather than just the PC?
No, because they've been alluding to Lightning, and they've said on a separate occasion that more details will come in September during that 3-day thing they're basically doing. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They already said they're gonna release more information on Realm Reborn and hopefully a release date. So, seeing as they're building that separately, I don't think so.
I think Lightning's really the only surprise we're going to see. I think we're going to see a Realm Unborn. We're going to see a lot. We're going to see. It's basically just going to be Final Fantasy weekend, isn't it? 'Cause it's 25 of final or the 25 year of Final Fantasy, not Square itself.
Yeah, exactly. Which is
So,
why, yeah.
So we'll see this. We'll see versus. We'll see. Probably since they just announced the browser games, we'll probably see more browser games demoed. As far as what to expect from Lightning, who knows? That's the only real big mystery, I think.
All right, I kind of threw up something new I want to try doing, and I threw it up before our actual recording, and I'm gonna throw it to Matt. Matt, I want a sounder for MMO Corner because we're gonna be talking about two things doing with MMOs, two separate games, and don't just steal what I did earlier. Come up.
Oh, I wanted to so bad.
All right, you've got the next 10 seconds while I speak while I go over what we're going to talk about to think of something new, okay? Okay.
I'm
Basically,
not going to the spot. You know that.
fine, then just make.
MMO corner. Pew pew pew.
All right,
That works.
just Seth. Matt, you do it yourself too.
Huh?
You do what Seth just did.
MMO corner.
That was a little wimpy. All right, maybe we'll put more thought into it for next week.
A little bass in it.
I'd like to have, yeah. I just want to talk about Guild Wars 2 really quick, just to let everyone know. There are suspicious emails going out. They are not giving away free copies of the game. They are trying to fish for your information. It's not through their company. Just be careful. But an interesting thing I thought about this game is it's already sold 1 million copies before the launch. And as you said earlier, the Secret World only has 200,000. They're only expecting 400,000, but significantly it's 5 times larger than that. There's been more hype behind it, but it's been in production so long. It's finally out. Seth, what do you think about that 1 million number?
I think it's a good jumping off point. I think, it definitely surprised me that it had that kind of following. I really didn't think, you know, I didn't guess Guild Wars would be the kind of force it became, or Guild Wars 2 should be. Um, it did get released, and to be honest, I didn't hear too many great things upon release. Just kind of being on the MMO champion threads, but it definitely surprised me, and good for them. Maybe we will see finally somebody dethrone WoW.
Matt?
Uh, I feel like it's gonna be the second biggest MMO out there to WoW. But like Seth said, a million is, I think it's a fantastic start. That's before the game even released. I feel like the number's only gonna go up as the game over the next couple months as the game gets more and more reviews and people. I mean, unless it's a really sucky game, which I don't think it is, because I've only heard good things so far.
See,
Well,
I've seen the opposite.
I have to disagree with you guys, and I'm going to bring up one thing. You have to learn from the past. Star Wars The Old Republic was above 1 million. Now it's below. So I think this game, sure, it's got a great jumping off point, but the point is, with a machine like WoW coming out, and I think people are getting sick of WoW, so they're sick of MMOs, but they've got so much content, it's almost impossible for another game to get so many subscriptions. Rift did okay. I mean, they got like their first expansion coming out, so they've survived the initial rush, but I think they're going to die with this second expansion because WoW's just got so much content. I need disagreements.
You have a
Uh,
hard on Rift.
I feel like you mentioned. What was
Jesus.
that?
I burped into the mic.
You really
Oh,
do have a hard on for Rift, though.
Actually, I liked it for a while, and then once I got to the end game, I hated it.
I feel like what you mentioned with Star Wars, you said it had over a million, but now it's dropping below. I feel like above a million was their peak, and I feel like Guild Wars still has yet to peak. Like the game just came out a couple days ago, and once it does peak, like it's not gonna get anywhere near WoW at all. Don't get me wrong, but once it peaks, I feel like it's gonna be the second best, second most popular MMO out there before it starts to drop.
See, I think it's
Great
blue. I think it blew. It's low too early. I think it's only gonna people aren't gonna stick with the game. I don't think they're gonna pull in many new people. Seth, really quick, and then we'll move on.
And as I said, it is a good jumping off point. That's kind of where I'm sticking my guns at. It's a good jumping off point. I'm not saying it's the best thing since sliced bread. I'm just saying it's a good jumping off point.
Well, I do want to bring up one thing that's new about it that I like, and I'll throw it to Matt because Seth, you don't really know too much about Guild Wars 2, right? Or
No,
nothing you really want to bring up
I've
about
probably
it.
played the first one more than you guys, but not the second one.
Okay. Well, and a feature I liked is the new interactive maps. I mean, it's basically what the name says. You can do things on your map now. And I think it'll help the overall gameplay experience. And I'm surprised other MMOs don't already have it. I'm very glad it's got that feature. And I think that's another thing WoW is going to steal. Like they stole scenarios and AoE loot and all that other stuff. Matt, what you thought on the interactive maps?
I think it's a really good idea. I mean, if you find a typical spot that you like to farm or whatever, and you want to like share the information, you set up through like a. It looked like a really easy interface. I mean, you won't know until you actually go through it.
Yeah.
But you just set it up, and then it goes out to a moderator of some sort, and once they approve it, then it's live and everybody can see it.
Seth?
So you can't just draw a giant penis on your map.
No.
Okay.
Moderator has to prove it, huh? But sounds cool. I don't know if it's. I mean, if that's the big news we're talking about, sorry, I don't have too many high hopes for it.
Okay, well, yeah, we're gonna go through a couple of the rest of the things for the whole week really quickly. Matt, there's also a feature you were telling me about before we started that you like.
Yeah, it's the character biography feature.
Tell
Basically,
Seth more.
when you create your character, after you go through the like what kind of character, like what kind of class you want to play, what it's gonna look like, what its name's gonna be, you go through like I'm guessing from what I read, a 10 to 20 question quiz of a sort, and it's all about it's like moral questions almost in a way. and it's going to determine everything from how your story is going to unfold, what kind of quests you do, a starting item that you get. Everything can vary so much, and what like how your character is gonna, I guess, not look because you predetermine that a little bit, but just like the typical personality of your character. It's all determined from these questions that you answer after you create your character. And I think it's a really interesting twist to an MMO game like this. I feel like it's gonna draw in a lot more of the RPers than just any MMO.
Sorry. I heard peers and I started laughing. Seth?
Real mature there, Steven.
No, I couldn't help it. I really couldn't help it. It's like if I see Ermagerd, I can't help it.
Oh my god. So was that Seth throwing to me in the middle of everything?
Yeah, well, Matt, you're pretty much done, right?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of the feature?
Yeah, Seth, I'm trying to be quick about it. Your thoughts?
I personally think, look, it's great, but how many possible alternate? Do we have like 4 different things that could happen?
Apparently, more like
because I go through 100 questions.
12 to 20. Like
Yeah.
a ton.
I mean, I think regardless, it won't help with the replay value. It'll be cool for a minute, and I don't really think I don't like it. I don't know.
I like the idea of it. My only problem is that people are going to say, hey, answer these questions this way, and it's the easiest way to get your way up. Or the easiest way to level. It's the best way to do it. It's the quickest way. That's my only concern about it. But otherwise, besides that, I mean, I think it's a new feature. Like I said, it's a refreshing thing. And that's why I spoke interactive maps. My whole thing about the Secret World is it's refreshing. And that's what I'm hoping other
Secret
mists.
World.
I said the Secret World.
You're going back man. You Secret World and Rift. You really want to find something else left from WoW, don't you?
You know, I'm always hopeful, and I always play these free times, and then anytime basically Rift like 2 years after I got my account, and I never actually paid for it. No, I got a free copy of the game, which got me a free week, and then I got a separate free week, and I got the level cap very quickly. But just like Secret World, just like Rift, endgame can't sustain, and I guess that's why I'm never going to leave WoW, is because it's always got a good endgame. But speaking of WoW, we're going to touch on this only for our primary classes. Just give a preview of our mists in our 5.0.4 podcast. We'll leave it to 2 classes. Seth, your thoughts on your 2 classes for the new changes, Paladin and Mage.
I love my mage. They gave us a lot more tools. Matt's gonna hate when I say this. I have 3 stuns, 1 silence, and my sheep for CC, and that doesn't include my regular freezing people in place. No, that's not what I'm talking
fuck
about.
you.
Well, save your thoughts.
Yeah, save. And I won't go too into it. I'm still playing around with it. It's making me excited for my mage mainly because I love the thought of Frostfire, and it seems to be like the most OP right now.
Paladin?
Paladin, I've only rocked Holy. All healing's overpowered right now, so it's really hard to tell. And what I mean, literally, Druid dots are crazy right now, but I like him. He's gonna be my second level. I'm gonna go hard with the mage. I'm gonna try and get both Justice and Honor capped. I'm already Honor capped with both my characters, or both of these characters. So, the final note to kind of the Paladin is, they're making leveling as Holy possible too with the new glyphs and everything they included.
All right, well, I'll go to myself next because someone's going to have a completely separate opinion. My 2 classes is Warrior and Warrior because it's all I've really played so far. But I'll cover all the bases. PvE Warrior, we got a big buff. We got a lot less stuff to actually have to actively maintain. A lot of randomness has been taken away from us, but it also opens up more opportunities. So when this happens, you AoE, but when this happens, you do something else. And it's gotten rid of a lot of the cookie cutter. I mean, the difference between Dragon's Roar is overpowered right now. Once they fix it, my guess is they're going to give it a 2-minute cooldown and then just shove it off in the corner because Bladestorm is a minute and a half. But I can finally see what they mean by having less talents, making things a larger variety. My main concern with PvE and PvP for an arms warrior is I need to wait till my level 90 talents to get a good confirmation. For protection, which is my second warrior, it's clean. Some people don't like the new rage and use your rage for defense moves. I think it's going to keep tanking interesting. I think it's going to make it, like I said again, less cookie cutter because cookie cutter is my favorite phrase to say. Apparently,
You've said it a ton.
I know with the past couple of weeks, and I just finally felt like pointing it out because I point out you saying and then matches long awkward pauses. But I can finally see what they're telling us about. There's more than one play style for a warrior, and each of them is viable. So I've been very happy about it. Someone hasn't been so happy about rogues, though.
Where do you want me to start?
How about your QQs about that we don't have every single weapon all the time?
It's not every single weapon. Oh my god, they just nerfed so much shit with rogues. Everybody QQ'd about rogues that they're so OP, and I always die to them. They need to be nerfed. And then Blizzard gave into that, and they ruined rogues. You take a sub rogue, you take okay, when you think rogue, what do you think? Stealth, right? Right.
No.
What do you think?
Nothing, I'm just fucking with you. Go on.
Yeah, of course, because you think stealth. The rogue class is built around stealth. Now, one of the things that I didn't really QQ about, and I'm gonna throw it out there now because I want to QQ about it, is they made it so you can see stealth from farther out. How retarded is that? I can't even get close to someone to sap them without
You
them.
need skill now. I'm sorry.
Also,
You
No,
need some
they
sort of
gave
skill to
no,
play a rogue.
no, it's not skill. They gave us an ability to increase our stealthiness. So
Yes.
you take this stealthiness.
You never
of-
played a rogue in vanilla, have you? It's you're basically going back to vanilla rogue and BC rogue.
No, you have stealthy rogue. You need to be in stealth to do all your like big damage or openers, whatever. And then they take away our effectiveness of a stealth. Okay, you can use your openers once every minute and a half.
You've been guaranteed stealth for the past 2 expansions. I'm sick of you crying about it. Quite
also,
frankly.
hold on. I want to clear something up about stealth because you're also you're still not targetable in stealth. We see you, but you can't be targeted, which I think that's an interesting dynamic, QQ or not.
I don't know.
Plus, you could also open up and still be in stealth. So relax.
That's if you pick that one talent. Okay, here we go into talents. You have 3 abilities. You want all 3 of them because that's what you had before. But they're making you choose one.
Hey, they did the same thing to Frost Mages. To be fair, though,
But they gave you other shit too, right?
they gave Fire Mages a lot. They gave Fire Mages all the Frost Mage utility. Frost Mages just got a damage buff.
Okay, let's take the most OP class in the game and make it even more OP. That is
Rogues
my...
making them more OP?
No, rogues were not the most OP. Mages were, and they are even more now.
You're just jealous that you don't have a character that's the most OP right now.
They were OP
That's
for
it.
2s and 3s arena. I'm gonna flat out say mages were 2, and mages should be ganked more.
Shaman
nerfed
used to
more.
be OP, then Rogues became OP, and now he just doesn't want to level up another character. I'm throwing that out there.
All right, Matt. Your other concerns. I mean, what's your argument that you didn't need prep and diddly throw and all these other things, where you should be able to just master certain utilities instead of having to worry about too many buttons? And basically, you had the reason why you leveled a rogue is because of the ridiculousness of your stealth and your ridiculousness of all your moves in the Molten Front, where you can get out of any situation and just gank people. Sure, they take away ganking from you, but don't you see as a more balanced class? Or do you just not care about that?
No, it's not balanced at all. Because now I have to be in stealth to do damage, but then you nerf stealth. Now mages, you don't need to. There's no requirement for you to do damage. And then they give them even more damage abilities.
Master
But
rank
I also
two
can't avoid all damage taken by magic. I mean, you guys have other utilities that mages don't have, that you're completely overlooking.
Well, we'll save this for further into 5.0.4 discussion until we see level 90, or at least until we just get a better feel of how it is. Matt, maybe your opinion will change. Maybe you'll find more to be mad about. I just want to move things along because we can spend an hour on that.
Plus, I'll say one last thing: we don't know everything yet. Blizzard will probably change a lot by the time 5.1 hits. So,
I'm gonna say one more thing too. If rogues don't change at all before the expansion, I will level my shaman first.
Oh,
good.
That's a biggie.
I like it.
For everyone that doesn't know, Matt hasn't really played the shaman since before Firelands, because after he got his Sinestra kill He hasn't really played him that much, and I'd love to see you play your shaman again. I think we've said this before, and I'll just say it on the podcast again. I think elemental shaman, you'd have a blast with it. You had so much fun with it before in the past, and I think what you're seeing right now is people are saying it's more for a return to vanilla. And in terms of the characters and their designs, they are kind of going back to that. And rogues weren't overpowered because it was, that spell cleave for Burning Crusade, but Wrath they started to build, and Cataclysm they were pretty jacked. So I think you're going to see it's just kind of like a return to what the rogue used to be. Because, trust me.
You want why I'm excited to see Matt go back to his shaman?
Because he got the 1,000 achievement.
Oh no, that's no reason for him not to play. Because Matt, you played your shaman for different reasons. I mean, you used to be the only elemental shaman in a raid when elemental shamans weren't viable. Yep. I think there's a little bit of fire there that I've been missing, seeing you.
Well, you've been so focused on PvP and ganking. I think what I really think is we got to build up our horde side and have some fun in challenge modes. Make some startup raid and just have some fun. I know Ryan was thinking about it too. Which this is a discussion we should have off the podcast, but I think that's the way we should go. And
Matt, you I don't know. I just want to see you try and be, try and fight against the grain. That's what I think. Why? Oh God, I'm gonna say it. Why you were such a good shaman?
God, why the fuck did you say it?
Because you spent so much time fighting, clawing, scratching, and doing what you could to be the best.
And I think with this new expansion, it's going to help you. And this is going to be our last push before our outro, really. Seth, you save your game for next week. We'll tease it. It's an audio game. But, Matt, I think since you'll have more of a variety, and with Rogue, you've always learned that this is the set way, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun playing your shaman. Come back. Come back to us.
Baby, come back to me.
I'm just trying to make you feel better because after your day and we get you fired up now, I know you're really pissed. And for some reason, you've got like this, you're a little dizzy right now.
A little bit.
You're just like Clue, where it's like flames on the side of my face. All right. That's pretty much it for this week. We'll just, like I said, talk about more WoW. Yeah.
Plug your stuff.
Oh, right. Email knownothinpc@gmail.com. knownothinpc@gmail.com. If you don't know how to spell, no, it's not N-O nothing. It's K-N-O-W. Same thing.
Maybe that's why people haven't been emailing us.
Exactly. I wanted to clear it up this week.
All right.
We need those emails.
That's why they're going to email us now. That was a mistake.
Right. Really quickly, well, you got 30 seconds each. Matt, everything outside of video games, what's been your interest recently?
Just a lot of Big Brother. I think I said last week was a season finale of Burn Nose. That was good.
Oh, you didn't watch this? Yeah, last night's episode. God damn it. Hurry up and watch it and text me when you do.
Yeah, I'll watch last night's episode right when you get down here.
Okay, Seth?
Watched Hell's Kitchen, caught up on that. Gonna try Hell's Hotel tonight probably. And then,
Motel Hell.
Hotel Hell, whatever. But
it's an M.
It's a hotel. It's not a motel.
Go on.
God, you're such an idiot. That plus, I'll be a little busier starting next week again, so we'll see what kicks in. But I've just been doing a lot of the old stuff.
All right, and I guess I'll just say I've been working a little more, so I've been getting into it a little less, but still haven't caught up on season 2 of Game of Thrones. I'll say it every week, but I have been with my girlfriend finishing off True Blood season 5. We've got about 2.5 episodes to go. Make fun of me all you want later, but True Blood is actually a pretty interesting show. And besides that, no, it's nothing like that. I mean, people get like, it's not like Twilight. I'll just throw that out there. It's something I can actually get into. But I think that's it for this week. Basically, just contact us if you actually find this. We've got about 2 people doing some guerrilla sort of marketing for us. If you find this along that, write us an email. Just let us know you're listening. So that's it for this week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
What?